Okay, let's go ahead and shoot the video, okay? Alright. Well, this is your third day.
Yes.
And what did you do today?
We are going to record the video for the review that I've already passed in the two.
Hold on a second. How many days have you practiced so far?
So far, 2 days.
2 days. So the first day, what was your impression about the first day you practiced Hak-So-Ken? It's an intensive camp, so...
Yeah, you know, the first day we went to the river to learn something very important.
Uh-huh.
And I just got the feeling that doing some martial arts practice in the nature is very fits for me.
Oh, why? How come?
Or it's maybe it just depends on my feeling, but for me, just doing the martial arts practice outside the apartment.
Oh, okay.
Is good for me.
And that was the first day. And how many hours did you practice for the first day?
Maybe I think 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, I remember. And after coming back home, we practiced some sparring, right?
A little
So, intense sparring. So, all in all, we practiced for about 8 hours or 9 hours.
I think so. And including the part where we watched the video, it would be much more.
Oh, hold on a second. I need my Coca-Cola.
Right.
Yeah. So, what did you do for the second day? Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, what did you do for the third day?
Second day.
For the second day?
Yeah, the second day we went to the sports center to learn every Hak-So-Ken movement. And this is a very basic of Hak-So-Ken, so that's a very important part of the intense summer camp.
Yeah, well, and how long do you think it's going to take for you to master, internalize all the movements?
I just think the number of Hak-So-Ken movement is not so much, but each movement is very deep, so I just think it will take a little long time to master and incorporate all movements in the actual fighting situation.
Actual fight? What are you talking about? What you're doing just for the health?
Really?
It's just for the health.
But anyway, I think mastering every movement would take at least several months or so.
Well, in my case, I've been practicing it for about 40 years. But if you did it within a year, I would say congrats.
Thank you very much, because I just learned the very important thing from the very good instructor.
Yeah. Well, you wrote the feedback for the 2 days, 2 days practice in sequence, and I want you to read it out for the audience. Is it okay?
All right.
Okay, let's do that. Thumbs up!
Hak-So-Ken Intensive Summer Camp Report, Elijah Otsuki. The first day, the practice at the river using wet towels to relax to make punch and blocking movements more effective. Sparring, blocking opponent's attack, how to use palm to penetrate the power. Hit Makiwara. The second day, learning every basic Hak-So-Ken movements, sparring to block opponent's attack, and stretching. Problems. My movements are stiff. I have fear when I try to block opponent's attack. Not flexible. Throughout the 2 days program, I've realized that the importance of the circular movements in the sparring. When I focused on the circular movements, it allowed me to block the attack relatively easily compared to when I don't. I also found that still I have fear in sparring. Relaxing is the essential key to make every movement effective, including circular movements. When I have fear, I use unnecessary muscle unconsciously. Also, I cannot use Hak-So-Ken movements effectively. I felt that fear and body stiffness are strongly connected. It also suggests that if I relax my body, I don't feel fear. Daily practice. Meditation is the key. I have a tendency to put unnecessary power, especially on my shoulders. It needs to concentrate to relax at any time, and using my arms as if they were made from the wet towels. It's an important concept, not only when I attack but also in defenses. Image training is the key. Concentrating my body not being flexible. I have to continue stretching every day. Prospect. I have many things to improve. Now that I have learned every movement of Hak-So-Ken, I want to brush up every movement to the level of practical use. Relaxing and keeping calm is the big goal to achieve. It also requires a long time. In the current situation, when I try to keep calm in the subconscious, it's still not calm. I want to fill the gap. I also increase the combination practice to make every movement practical in the real fight. I need to make my body flexible and gain strength. Still long way to go until getting stronger, but I'd like to enjoy the process of it.
Hey Elijah, how's it going, man?
Now I'm very fine, thank you.
Well, yeah, I read your feedback and
Yes.
your Hak-So-Ken intensive summer camp report, and there are several things I would like to ask you. Is that all right for you?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, you told me about kind of sparring when you're sparring with me. You kind of felt the stiffness in your body, and you're kind of scared. And
Yes.
what kind of feeling is that?
Maybe whenever I try to sparring, I'm afraid of being hit by the opponent and getting hurt. So whenever I do sparrings, I always try to be calm and relax, but in the subconscious, I don't relax very well that I wanted.
But have you delved into why? What's going on in your mind when you feel the stiffness and you're intimidated by the punch, the possible punch that may come on your face or on your abdomen or whatever?
Yeah.
You're scared anyway. So have you delved into how to overcome your weaknesses in mentality?
One of the good way is to increase the time of doing sparring and get myself accustomed to the situation. I don't have enough experience to do the sparring practice. So that's one of the reasons that makes me so nervous. I just think the biggest reason is because still I have, as you mentioned, that I'm afraid of being hit by my weak point, face or any other parts. So now I'm wondering, the important thing is to well, it's a little bit difficult, as I told you, to increase the experience and just to get myself accustomed to the situation, and or just doing some training or mental training until I really get calm in an actual actual fighting situation.
Yeah. Well, I can perfectly relate to you, and let me tell you my story, okay?
Yeah.
When I was around 17 years old, I guess I was. I had my teacher, okay? He had a very strong punch, not as strong as mine, by the way. Right. Anyway, so every time I had to spar with them, I was terribly scared, and I couldn't do anything, and my body was stiff, and I couldn't even block a punch. And I can perfectly relate to you, and I can dissect what the problem is. I would say it in plural, and you can dissect the problem, kind of scrutinize the problem to dissect what are the problems. And the first reason is that you have experienced a lot of punches on your chest, or a lot of palm attack of mine on your chest.
And right. That sparring, you also kicked me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your kick is intense.
You're talking about that kick that that you fell down. That street fighting style.
Yeah, and the one that we had yesterday.
Oh yeah,
but
I was being very careful
Yeah.
not to hit your face, because that was kind of a practice of doing what's the name of the technique. It's just dodge the punch and kick. So my goal was not to scare you, but I just want you to experience how it works. Okay.
Yes.
The whole mechanism of how to dodge the punch, both punches and kicks. And the second reason is that you told me that every time you spar, you get accustomed to it. But I wouldn't agree with you, because every time you spar, you will not get so much confidence. But the best way to do it is to do it as slowly as possible, like doing the push hands as slowly as possible, and you can kind of see the next movement, a possible movement that allows you to move more effectively without having the fear. And if you're confident enough, you can speed up the sparring speed little by little.
I think so. So the process is very important, from just as you mentioned, to start doing sparring very slowly until I get confidence that I can deal with the opponent's every possible attack in that speed. So then I can just increase the speed, and just doing the process from very slowly and step by step, the speed is getting increased, and then I can just get myself accustomed to the actual speed in the actual fighting situation.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have the Tai Chi movement and so forth, and we have the Tai Chi. That's a very slow kind of martial arts. And when we think about why we have that kind of martial arts, it's very obvious that we have to do it very slowly at first and get our body internalize the movement, and then we can draw upon the skills of fighting to the real, street fight situation. You got it right. All right. Is that okay to move on to the next question?
Yes.
All right. You told me that your movements are stiff,
Yes.
and what makes you think that your body is stiff?
The biggest reason is I cannot relax completely. And I just use the unnecessary muscle in some part, and it's subconscious, so it's a little bit hard to realize for myself.
Yeah. But you see, I can see that your excessive use of shoulder muscle.
Yeah, honestly to say now, I have muscle pain on my shoulder
Yeah.
in the too intensive summer training camp, which means I still use shoulder power very much, so which means I don't relax completely.
Well, that's a good thing though, because if you use your shoulder power excessively, there will be a moment there where when you won't be able to use your shoulder power anymore, and that's the moment you start to think about how not to use your shoulder power.
All right,
And so you're on the right track, and you don't have to worry about that.
thank you.
And another reason why your body is stiff, you feel stiffness in your body, is because of the fear that you have already mentioned.
Yes,
in the
exactly.
report. So, what kind of fear do you have when you spar?
If I got a punch or kick, maybe it hurts. So that's the biggest fear that I have now. And unluckily, I don't have any fight in my life, so I don't know what it's like the actual fight.
Oh, I see. Well, I think I could classify the kind of fear that may happen in your life. The mental fear,
Yes.
and the physical fear. And you're telling me that you're not accustomed to the physical fear, and I'm just assuming that you're not accustomed with the mental fear either. If somebody says, some evil things against you, some people, acting a dog in the manger or something, saying all these kind of bad things to you, and your heart hurts, right?
Exactly.
Right. So, in my case, I cannot overcome that. So I need to drink some beer, right? All right. So that's how we can overcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some beer, alcohol.
Yeah. Why don't you drink some alcohol before practicing Hak-So-Ken? Now that's gonna be a drunken feast or
That may be a very good idea. I just feel that when I just drink some alcohol, my nervousness is just softened. So and I'm a little bit, in another way, a little bit confident when I take some alcohol.
Well, why don't you take a little bit, partake a little bit of alcohol before sparring? That will alleviate your feeling if it helps. why don't you utilize this?
That
this chance?
sounds fantastic idea, and especially I like alcohol very much. Maybe that method is exactly for me, I think.
Let me tell you something, okay?
Yeah.
If that is the case, I recommend
Let's
you
take a look at it.
to drink spiritus. That's 99% alcohol, man.
Spiritus.
Spiritus, yeah. That's good for you. You just sip a little bit of spiritus and get ready to fight.
Maybe instead of I can gain some confidence and my body or my mental does not hurt, but my organ would hurt.
Anyway, you get hurt anyway. That's what life is all about.
Yeah.
Well, I understand it, but you just drink a little bit of alcohol to
I
ease your
think
feelings
that's a very good idea.
from the next time. And the fear, when you think about fear, when we think about fear, fear is a kind of losing something,
I think so.
right?
I agree
Basically,
with
it's
you.
about fear is losing something, and when you think about fear, the hugest fear is death, losing your life. And that's the great, that's the most devastating kind of fear that you have in your mind. But don't be afraid of fear, because you have the ticket to heaven. Jesus Christ. You accepted Jesus Christ, and you have the ticket to heaven, and you have a very good heart given by God, and even if you die, you'll be together with Jesus forever. So there's
Okay.
nothing you have to fear.
So I have to be very careful not to be in a hurry to death.
Yeah, but I'm a kind of person who's really super careful about injuries.
Yes.
And I always ask you to go to the orthopedics at least once in 2 weeks.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for the care.
Yeah, and we are subscribed in this insurance. So there's nothing you have to worry about. And the fear that you have, okay, when you get punched, you get hurt, of course, in a real fight too. But strangely, in a real fight, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't. Because when you're raged up, okay, when you're raged up, you feel nothing. That's the actual fight. So there's not much you have to worry about it. But let's go back to the weekly practice. We're gonna start it very, very slowly, and gradually increase the speed, and this way you don't have to worry about the pain.
No, I don't.
Right? What do you think?
It's a very good idea, and especially when I take some alcohol.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on. You told me that you noticed that the circular movements are really important in Hak-So-Ken.
Yes, I really felt it in yesterday's sparring training. Several times I had some sparring training, but yesterday it was for the first time to apply the real circular movement, or even though the movement itself is not enough. But by applying the circular movement, I just felt that I can just block the opponent's attack relatively easily compared to when I don't.
Right, because if you just move your hand a little bit, like 5 centimeters from left to right or right to left, you really don't have the momentum. And if you can use the circular movement, that means that you are using the whole body to block the punch.
Yes.
And so that being the case, you're using the whole body, which means that is durable to any kind of heavier kind of punch or kick. And so that's why I focus on the circular movement all the time.
Yes. And I just get the feeling that when I'm doing circular movements, there is some kind of effect to relieve my nervousness.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's a very good advantage of applying circular movements in the practice or maybe in an actual fighting situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I sometimes do the real, serious sparring.
Mm-hmm.
Even in a serious sparring, I just make a circle,
Mm-hmm.
make circles with my both hands, and start my fight just like this. It's not a boxer style. It's not like hey man, how's it going? What's your problem? And show me what you got, man. Here. It's not like that. So Hak-So-Ken is in a way, very, aesthetically,
Yes.
aesthetically good way of fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. I think you've learned a lot. Yeah, and you thought it was kind of relatively easier. It makes
Yes.
alleviates the difficulty to block the punches. Am I right?
Yes.
Good. And you told me as well that when you're scared, you're using unnecessary muscle subconsciously. And could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Especially when I fear of something, maybe my shoulder just is lifted, maybe in the subconscious, which means automatically, and it also consumes my unnecessary energy, and it's a disadvantage of the actual fight because the faster I lose my energy, the chance would I just lose the chance.
That's true. And have you thought why you are using excessive muscle power? I mean, concerning the shoulder.
I just read a book that the shoulder is the part where it just gets the unnecessary power the most. That's one of the reasons.
But have you noticed when I teach you guys Hak-So-Ken, I always say transgender.
Yeah.
I always say this all the time, right? It has a meaning, because if you act like a girl,
Okay.
if you act like a girl, automatically, pretend, try to when you're sparring,
Yeah.
try to make ease your feeling by saying to yourself like you're transgender girl like this, or even octopus.
Okay.
Just say to yourself like a mantra, heart sutra, or whatever. I'm an octopus. I'm a female octopus. I'm a female octopus. I'm a female octopus. And I say 100% guarantee that it's gonna work. Whenever you feel the fear, it's okay to lose, because I'm a transgender. No, I'm a octopus girl.
I just think that's a very good idea because you just mentioned that the fear in an actual fighting is to lose something, but if I just pretend that I don't have anything to lose,
Right.
maybe I don't have to be suffered from the fear of losing anything.
Yeah. Well, we have to define what the loss is, and we have to define between the loss, gain, and the loss. And usually in martial arts, it is sometimes referred to, the loss in game is sometimes referred to a loss in the fight with the opponent, or get a loss and a win. The victory is hinges on whether you can you can fight with a person and beat up the person. But that's not, to me, that's not real. That's not a real combat. And combat, it has to go on inside of yourself. And if you could be a victor in the fight, but if you are not if you are unnoticed by your weaknesses, therefore you cannot overcome your weaknesses, and that means you're a loser. And even if you lost your fight against the opponent, and you found your weaknesses in your fight, and now you figure it out, you scrutinize the situation, and analyze and dissect your tendencies, and thereafter you find your weaknesses and try to overcome your weaknesses, and someday you overcame your weaknesses, and that's the true victory.
I really agree with you.
Yeah. Right. So don't worry about losing the fight, or so if you think about it this way, there's nothing you have to fear.
Yeah.
And you should just add a little bit of alcohol, and make your mind tabula rasa. Yeah.
Very good. And I just think that maybe I just set the goal in winning the actual fighting is as a little bit short term, as you mentioned, that to overcome my fear and weaknesses and just getting stronger. If I just set what you mentioned as a final goal, maybe I don't have to be so worried about the short terms winning or losing.
Yeah. So just like you have come to be able to speak English that fluently, you're not really worried about passing the exam or anything, but you enjoyed it, right?
Yeah, really.
Yeah. So you're not worried about failing the exam, or somebody give you an F minus, or
If I just set the goal of learning English as passing some test, maybe I would not have learned such a fluent English like I speak now.
Yeah, right. And passing the sit for the exam is pretty much like real fight. And if you set your either your martial arts journey or academic journey, and that's not where the essence is. The essence is to grow in maturity, both in spirit and physicality. And if you set that goal, and you don't have to worry about how long it's gonna take. So my point is that you have to take a little bit of alcohol before the sparring and enjoy.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And so the reason. Here's another proposal for you. Okay.
Yes.
If you feel the stiffness on your shoulder, okay, make a very clear imagination that your shoulder is made out of what? Made out of water.
This is what you always tells us that the human body is made of water.
Yeah. But you know, it's kind of counterintuitive. But because
Yes.
you're a muscular guy, and I can see your broad your broad shoulder, you really have a very good figure, which means that it's hard to think that your shoulder is made out of water. But it requires a little bit of imagination to think that your shoulder is made of water. And when you make a move, okay, just imagine that your body is made out of water. Yeah, it's about the imagination.
Power of imagination.
It is. You know, yeah, and that requires, of course, image training. And you told me that you meditate every day, almost every day.
Recently, I don't do meditation. I would like to apply the meditation training every day.
Well, that's making your body feel like, especially the parts that you have the tensity in your body, you get rid of it as if you feel that as if your whole body is made out of water. Is the basics of Chi Gong. And we're going to learn it tomorrow with the permitting, of course.
Yeah.
We're going to the river again, and we're going to practice the Chi Gong.
I'm very exciting
Yeah.
to go to the river again.
Yeah. And you mentioned a little bit about stretching, right?
Yeah.
And when you stretch, be mindful that you do not overstretch your body.
Yeah, and I just learned from you that before we start stretching, we have to do some exercise to do some warming up. It's very important not to get hurt in the stretching.
Yeah, right. Well, a lot of people have the misunderstanding that they have to stretch their body at first, but that's the wrong notion. Before doing that, you may stroll a little bit, walk a little bit outside, and make your body fluid prepared enough for the stretching. So you can actually calentar tu cuerpo. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for my Spanish.
No te
But yeah.
preocupes.
What's that?
No te preocupes.
Muchas gracias.
De nada.
All right. So from the prospect you mentioned Hak-So-Ken in practical use. What do you think is the practical use of Hak-So-Ken?
Mainly, because Hak-So-Ken starts with love and ends with love. So I won't have any chance to fight against the opponent from me. And the actual possible situation is when I'm tangled with Fang or any other bad guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's the time that I can utilize Hak-So-Ken movement maybe to protect myself.
Oh, well, that's not quite
Different.
yeah, that's not quite how it works. The best way to cope with that kind of situation is call the 911 at first
Okay.
and see how it goes. And of course, you call the 911 and call somebody who can help you. And,
Right.
and if that doesn't work, that's when you can use the Hak-So-Ken. So
It's the final resort.
yeah, that's the final resort actually. So, but you don't have to fight, but it's sometimes good. Good, it's kind of manly, to feel like you want to fight, and it's very natural, and that's why we gather up together, and if there's an open tournament, we can join in the open tournament to kind of try out what we have learned.
Yes.
Okay. And as for keeping calm, okay,
Yes.
is it hard for you to keep calm?
Honestly to say, the answer is yes. Sometimes I just try. Of course, I just try to keep calm at any time. But sometimes, maybe I'm not sure, but it comes from my past. But sometimes, the more I try to be calm, the more it's a little bit opposite thing happens. The more I get nervous.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think that's called reverse psychology. And reverse psychology is all about, the more you try to do something, the less perform you got. And yesterday, you remember you were trying to dodge the punches and the kicks.
Yes.
And you, I told you to kind of you close your eyes
and not to think anything.
and don't think about anything.
Yeah.
And don't worry about anything and make your close your eyes close your eyes half open, and that will make you meditate. And then if you see a lot of people actually meditating like Buddhist monks, their eyes are half open. So what you need, okay? Let me summarize what I said.
Okay.
Just feel like a girl octopus, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing is drink a little bit of alcohol.
Okay.
and look sleepy, okay? If you master all these three things, you can probably get rid of 90% of your fear.
Well, I got the feeling that your method would work perfectly.
Yeah, it will. It has worked so far, right?
Yes.
Yeah. It's this way you can keep calm in the subconscious, in the subconsciousness as well. And you also mentioned the combination practice, right?
Yes.
A combination of all the movements.
And incorporate the movement into the shadow practice or combination practice to brush up the skills and just increase the level of each movement to the level of actual something useful for an actual situation.
Okay, how are we gonna achieve that?
If I'm asked so straightly, it would be a little bit difficult, but the important thing is to brush up my each movement first. Then I can just doing combination practice.
That's good. That's good. Well, I think the difference from between Hak-So-Ken and ordinary Chinese or Asian martial arts is that Hak-So-Ken is everything. In terms of Hak-So-Ken, everything is improvisational. So you just make it up, all the techniques on the spot to fit the situation. So that reminds me of some famous guitarists like Jimi Hendrix or Van Halen and all these guys. They just do it on the spot. So in order to make this combination work very well, I know how to do it because when I was young, I was a guitar freak.
Okay.
And the first thing I played was what's the Speed Train or no? You Really Got Me Now. You Really Got Me Now. That was Van Halen, and I was like, I don't know how it went, but hey, you really got me now. You really got me, so I don't know where I'm going. Yeah, you really got me now. So there's a guitar part, following, and then that it became my trait. I just practiced that part a lot, and every time I played just about anything, could be Van Halen or Don Dokken or Ronnie James Dio, or you name it, all right, Metallica, or you name it. It turns out to be all the time. So it doesn't matter what kind of song is it. I just change the key and I just go. And I was in love with Yngwie Malmsteen, and he always goes like, okay, and then I learned the phrase, and I thought was, man, this is cool, and then all I had to do, I just my finger remembers the movements, and I started from there. And even I played Metallica, I would just went like, So what I'm trying to say is find. You told me that you have to learn the most effective movement, but just forget about that.
Right.
Just forget about that and find the most comfortable movement for you.
Which means the one that I can enjoy the most.
Yes.
All right.
You tell me all the time that, enjoying, disfrutar is the key, right?
Es más importante
Es más importante.
aprender todas cosas.
Yeah, so I told you, para aprender cualquier cosa es muy importante que disfrutes. Right? Let's change the language into English.
Right.
Back into English, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so when you practice the combination, just be mindful that you enjoy.
Okay.
And always think about, yourself as a musical instrument, and let your body make a harmony and melody when you practice Hak-So-Ken.
Right.
And it says at last, you told me, still long way to go until getting stronger, but I would like to enjoy the process.
Yes.
That's what you got, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got the spirit, right? Thank you for the interview.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you again.
All right.